Daf Yutes in the Hagadah. So, very important piece in Hagadah, we say right before V'hishamda.
Which page?
Page Yutes.
Must. Let's see. Sorry.
יש לך טלפון אחר, עתיק?
Tito. Ja, hij heeft de show now.
Baruch Shem Avtachos El Yisrael. Give back over here. It's in the page Yutes, in the last line. Baruch Shem Avtachos El Yisrael. Baruch Hu. Shakadosh Baruch Hu Chishev Esaketz. The Eibishter made a special cheshbon. He shortened the Golus from 400 years to 210 years, as we'll talk about soon, because this shibud was very difficult. Last is Kamashama Avram Avinu Bebizben Avsara Shenu Avim Avram Avinu Lema Avram Yodeya Teida Kigei Yezerachim Beretz Loilohem. This is a posuk. The posuk says that they will be a geir, they will not be a toishav, they will not be a resident, they will be a passerby. Be'eretz Loilohem, in a land that doesn't belong to them. Daf Chof in the Hagadah. One more page here. They will torture them and they'll make them slaves for 400 years. Will go out with the big rechush. Okay.
Well, that's not, you don't want to, it's much that, like, we're also blessing Hashem for the fact that we had a snake golas. I mean, that's Haftacha, he made Haftacha. L'chayr, you think Baruch Shem Haftacha said that he let us out. But here they're saying the Haftacha is that we would be in the golas for 400 years.
Right. It sounds that way. Demis spoke about this last year, that the Baruch really is for the fact that he chopped down for 400 years to 210, and he counted the koish yeshibu, the difficult. That's really the Baruch Hu. The chishev esaketz be'emes. Because otherwise a pella. What do you mean?
He plays with it a little bit.
Right.
Okay, but still, 200 years is a pretty harsh sentence.
Yeah.
You know.
How many generations was there?
I mean, they say that the Gehenna is. If you have your sword in this world, it's like 1/200 of Gehenna. It takes off. Whatever it is, I don't know the chiddush.
Why does it came up to number 400?
Eight.
That's because Yitzchak was born in this.
Shechad Meshishim.
From the
Yeah, the Eish was Yachid Meshishim, right.
210 years.
That really, it took off
From the,
24,000 years of being, 2,400 years of being in.
Yeah.
That's about
No,
8 generations.
In Gehenna?
Okay.
oh, still be like
Okay.
24,000 years in Gehenna. We saved by being good.
9 generations.
Even though Gehenna is worse, we say Hashem Tzilcha, that in this world when you do tshuva,
Right, a little bit of Yisurim is Deicha, a lot of
everything. And
says that he really deserved the big patch.
the Rebbe's beer we'll talk about soon is that it's not really that they deserve a patch, but that it was achona for Matan Torah. Because Matan Torah is something that's so incredible that a Yid has to have for his bittul. And Begashmi is how does a person become bottle? Everything is comfortable, they're not bottle. When a person Nebach is in Sardis, so then they become bottle. We'll talk about
It's still 400 years. It's like
Yeah.
even 200 years is. You could be bottled for 2 years in jail. What do you need for 200 years? Wow.
What,
the truth is the Koishi
Generation?
Hashibud is mamash at the end. The really all the like
At the
big
beginning. No, but it started once Yosef passed away.
that's all part of the 210 years.
Yeah, but I mean that's horrible. The kids
And-
were slaughtered. It's like a Holocaust. For
No,
210 years of Holocaust.
the kids being slaughtered was mamish at the end.
Oh yeah, they didn't put
That's
their kids at the
all
beginning.
at the end. No, that's all at the end.
Kiton Ramses. When they
That's-
build up.
Well,
when he
before
shechted
Yosef
is when
died, that Paro killed all the kids. He killed all the boys right when Moshe was born.
Before.
Yeah.
that was also
time.
the Mitzrayim kid.
Okay, but it's still horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some horrible Holocausts beforehand.
But the real Koishi
The
Hashibud.
Gehenna is 11 months, the most.
But
They
the
were getting
real
24
Koishi
years.
Hashibud was mamish at the end. Because it says when Pari shechted the kids and bathed in their blood, and they started to scream. And that's when the Abish sent Moshe Rabbeinu. Right? And
Yeah.
right after that, it got even worse.
Yeah.
And they started to put the babies in the bricks. And that's when it's mamish at the end, the
7
last
years.
year.
No, wasn't it 7 years? Moshe was 70 when they left Mitzrayim.
So, but when the Abishter revealed himself, right when he started to shech the babies, he
Moshe
didn't
was born.
scream. No, that was not.
No, because
That was when they threw. That one was okay. So that was a small tkufa that they threw all the baby, including Egyptian babies, in the Ya'or. But that was it. They stopped after that. But the real thing where they was putting the babies in the bricks, that was only at the end, the last few months. That was the Koish Shibud that was mamash in the last few
How
months.
old was Moshe when he fled Egypt?
How old was Moshe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Has to be not
80, he was
more
7
than
or 80.
70.
No.
At Yitzias Mitzrayim, at the
No, he's asking.
Kriyas Yamsuf, he was 80.
No, he's asking when he ran
When
away,
he
when they
ran
wanted
away,
to chop
when he
off.
killed the
He was very
Mitzvah.
young. He was
He
very
was
young.
young. How old?
He was like 5 years old.
No, it's
Yeah, he was by.
No.
He was. The measure says he was away for 70 years. Yes, he was a king in
So how 5 years
Midian.
old can kill the Egyptian?
Because what do you mean how? How can a 3-year-old have 10 shvatim? I mean, they were very advanced in those days. You tell me, I don't know. There was Ben Ish Chaim knew Shas when he was 10, didn't he?
So let's go back to that soon. First, let's talk about this pasuk. Ger Yezaracha be'eretz lo Elohim. So the problem with the pasuk is like this. It says when the Yidden came to Mitzrayim, Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim be'eretz Goyim, Vayechuzu ba v'yifru mir b'miyod. Vayeshev means they were sitting comfortably. And where did they live? In Eretz Goyim, which is made of Oretz. Vayechuzu ba Rashi says Lashon Achuzah. So how bad was it? How bad was it? The Eibusha said, Ger Yezaracha be'eretz lo Elohim v'avodim v'inu oisem. Till Yosef died and all his brother died, none of this happened. They lived very comfortably in Eretz Goshen, which is the fat of the land, in a way of Vayeshvu, yeshiva, and also it was.
This is not their land. The land.
Oh, so Pashas, it's not their land.
And that was
So as
probably
long as it's not
around-
their land, so they're fine. So that's Ger
But the
Yezaracha.
last brother died.
Like us in America, I'm sorry. We live comfortable. We have a nice
Right,
house.
it's not our country.
But this is not our
What does
country.
it-
And this is not our.
That's some Pshuta Shemikra. We're in Galus.
You shouldn't forget it either.
Right, that's a Pshuta Shemikra. Now, but the thing is like this. Rashi says, Vayachazu ba Loshen Achuzah. So first shaila is, what do you mean Achuzah? How does Yidden have Achuzah in Eretz Mitzrayim? Achuzah means Yerusha. Achuzah, Eretz Achuzaschem. Goes about Eretz Yisrael, it's called Eretz Achuzaschem. How does the Torah call Eretz Mitzrayim? Vayeshev Yisrael be'Eretz Mitzrayim, be'Eretz Goyim, Vayechazu ba. So Rashi says Loshen Achuzah, Vayechazu ba. The Medrash says differently. The Medrash says Vayechazu ba means they were stuck. The land was like grabbed onto them. That put their tentacles into the Jews and made them suffer.
So it's a negative.
Negative. And Rashi says positive. Vayochazu ba Loshen Achuzah. Means in a very positive way. As they had Achuzah, Eretz Achuzaschem. How do you call a Tomei land like Goshen Achuzah for Klal Yisrael? It's not the Achuzah. Eretz Yisrael is their Achuzah. Rashi, Medrash understand. Vayochazu ba means the land tormented them. But Rashi says no. Vayochazu ba means Loshen Achuzah. The Yidden yashened it.
Look at all the Hasidim. They go back to Russia, and they love posing in front of the picture Lubavitch, the sign that says Lubavitch. People look at that as our nachala. It's like our pride.
It's hard to understand.
Yeah, but and they were only in Lubavitch for 100 years. Here they were there for 200 years. So imagine a guy passes by Goshen on the sign in Mitzrayim. He's like, oh, the Al Tahem.
Why in Bet HaKvarot it said you're getting Ahuzat Kever?
One second. I have to answer this first. The Torah is not talking about after 210 years. And then they came back to pose for pictures. The Torah talks about day number 1. Vayeshev Yisrael be'eretz Mitzrayim be'eretz Goshen v'yachzor v'yifru v'yiru. That's in Parshas Vayigash.
Vayeshuv, and then Vayachzu. How does that? Why is that the same year? Who says? I mean, it was the
Vayochazu ba.
best year of Yaakov Avinu. Right, he had 17 years of most pleasurable years of his life.
No. But how do you say that Eretz Goshen is called a Achuzah for Klal Yisrael? Achuzah means like Eretz Yisrael, like we say in this week's parsha. Today's Chitas.
My Eretz Yisrael, that was some ascetic's answer.
Machdar Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the Rebbe's answer, but it's a nice answer. Yeah, what do you say?
I said that when people buy Kever,
Yeah,
they
it's
call
called
it Achuzat Kever.
Yeah, Achuzat Kever.
You mean Kever is after 120?
Well, Achuzah means he's holding right in a positive way.
Yeah.
I was going to say that Yosef was obviously extraordinarily well-to-do person. And he secured his legacy among his family, among the Egyptians, by acquiring a tremendous amount of land and property, etc. And that could have lasted
For a long time.
for a
I hear.
long time.
I hear.
But only in Mitzrayim.
Not a bad pshat. The Rebbe says two pshatim. One pshat is the Radak is an interesting Radak in Yeshua. In Yeshua it says that he conquered, it's called Eretz HaGoyshen. So all the Mefarshim say, what are you talking about? What can the Eretz HaGoyshen? So there's a few pshatim. When the Radak says that Yeshua went down to Egypt and he conquered the whole land of Goshen and he made it, annexed it as part of Israel. You know, Israel today is they're so scared to take maybe Gaza. Is Gaza really historically Israel? Not Israel. Yeshua didn't care about all this politics. He just went into Mitzrayim, he killed them out, Kedaboy, and he took the whole Goshen and he made it a part. The Loshen is that it was Nivlas B'toich Ori Yisrael. It was swallowed up to Ori Yisrael. He decided, why not? Why shouldn't we take away a chunk of land of Egyptian? Goshen is a nice piece of land. We'll take it for us. So one pshat that ever says, so it really, Hashem Ha'asid, it really became Achuz of Klal Yisrael. It's true. And the second pshat that ever says even more. There's a medrash. The medrash says that when Paro, he tormented Sarah for a night, he later gave her gifts. And he said, I'll give you a matana, the seksus einayim. It doesn't say what the gift was. Medrash says the gift was that Eretz Goshen became her achuza. So Oibazoi, you say very pashut. So Eretz Goshen really, they yashin from Sarah Ibeinu. So it was really achuza.
But women aren't koine.
They're koine. The husband maybe gets it, the children will get it, or she's koine. It's not a problem for a woman to be koine something. Question is if she holds on to it. But the point she passed on, and her children got the Yerusha.
But Eretz Goshen, it's when Yaakov sent the Shvatim to look for a place to open Bet Medrash, a school, so he sent them to Goshen.
Yeah, he said, listen, that land belongs anyway to grandma, so why not?
That's Pirush.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
That was Yehuda Soros. He was the grandfather of Leib Soros.
Okay.
Right? Yehuda opened the yeshiva.
Yeah, exactly. Yehuda Soros.
Geshno. Go open it.
So the pshat is, that's the pshat that was a Yerusha. The problem is fakert. Oy bazoi, so we're back to...
But didn't it say Be'eretz Lo Lehem?
Oh, so what's the
That's the
pshat?
problem, yeah.
We say the Torah...
Up until then, it would be Lo Lehem. No, it's not like a Yerusha that was theirs to begin with. Here they had to be koinet and do, shrink the land and do mufsim to get it.
Exactly. First of all, what's a pshat Be'eretz Lo Lehem? Secondly, the Yidden are suffering. The Yidden suffering or not suffering. So the Rebbe answers two pshatim. One pshat is that there is an interesting zoyer, and the Alter Rebbe teaches in Torah Oyer. It says that the Yidden word b'avoda kosher b'chomer b'leveinim. So the zoyer says avoda kosher zukushya, chomer the kal v'chomer, leveinim the libun hilchasa. So if you learn the regular zoyer, you think it's like a funny thing. The zoyer is saying it's like playing on words. It says that they work b'chomer. Chomer means they worked with something difficult. Akushya, it's a question. A chomer is a kal v'chomer. And then libun is libun hilchasa. But Alter Rebbe says no, that everything that happens b'gashmis happens also b'ruchnis. That there's such a thing that avodah kosher b'chomer b'levayim means that a person is working yegeya b'Torah, is working very hard in Torah. The Rebbe says really what Alter Rebbe is saying is a mishnah meforeshus in Pirkei Avos. The Pirkei Avos says a person who accepts the yoke of Torah, they take away the oil malchus and oil derech eretz. What's the diuk in the mishnah? Oil Torah. He takes Torah, not time he learns a little bit of Torah here and there. He's Yogeya b'Torah. He puts in his whole Yegiya into Torah. Like it says by Yehuda Sholach. So the Medrash Tanchuma says, Shiyu Hoyigim b'Torah, that they were Yegeya b'Torah, they were schwitzing on the Torah. So when a person schwitzes in the Torah, so the Eibusha says, you know what? We're going to switch. Instead of Choymer Leveinim, physical suffering with physical chomer leveinim. So if a person, I'm going to take a kasha, I don't understand the Gemara, I don't understand the Tosfos, I don't understand the Maimer. He's running around mavulvul and he's trying to figure out the chomer and the kalva chomer and the libun hilchasa. So that is instead of golus. So you could say that when the Shvatim came down, even if they lived comfortably until Yosef or Chol Echad passed away, but Yehuda was sent to should be Yagim B'Torah, so they were Mekayim. They were Mekayim the Gzeda. There was a Gzeda that will be for 400 years. Lapoila was for 210 years. For so many years they were living comfortably and learning Torah, but the Yagir B'Torah was instead of Yagir B'Soda. A second shot.
Yeah, but according to that shot, then it means that they got weaker in learning Torah. That's why they had the all of Golos.
Good, but that was Mekayim. The Ke'evish said to Avraham Avinu that they're going to be Avodim V'inu Oisim. They're going to suffer. So, but the suffering was exchanged. Instead of suffering in Avodah B'Soda, it was Choymer, was Kal V'Choymer, and Libun Hilchasa, which is a moedic thing. Yeah. The upshot from this is really what the Rebbe is trying to say, is that and sometimes in life that things are tough, so we have to put in a big koyach into Choymer of a Kal V'Choymer and the Libun Hilchasa. And then for Makabel the El Torah, the Eibush already takes away the El Malchus and El Derech Eretz. That's one thing. And a second thing, second Teretz, which is also a second lesson of Avodas Hashem, is that the Yidden had a big tzar. The end of the day, Eretz Yisrael is Ein Hashem Alakecha v'Meresh Hashanah v'Dach Hashanah. And the Yidden were now in Goshen. Take all the miles. In the future, Yeshua will conquer it. And there was a Yerushim Sarimenu. But they knew this was not Eretz Canaan. So therefore they had a great tzar from it. So again, that was Mekayim, the Eivish thing, V'avodim V'inu Oisam. The inu was the fact that they were able to say, when the Yidden got comfortable there, they were not learning Torah, and they were not in pain that they're in Golus. No, so, but the Eibush said they avodim v'inu they'll be tormented for 210 years or 400 years. Oh, so then came the Shibud of Mitzrayim. But half the Yidden had not got comfortable. If the Yidden wasn't be Vayishman, Yeshurim, Vayivat, if the Yidden never got comfortable there, they always were in pain that we're in Golus, and they were always spending the time in Limud Hilchasa. It would never be the Golus.
That's a perfect shot, because that's why Levi didn't go into Shibud. Because they're this Shevet Levi that sits and learns all day.
Because they're sitting and learning. Very good.
They didn't have to be in Golus.
No, but that was
they're already doing Libin Hilchasa.
Right.
No, but that was
Right.
They were doing Libin
There
Hilchasa.
goes.
That was the tradition in Egypt.
But it's good.
That
It's better
the
this goal than this
priestly
goal.
class
Right.
would
The Ramban
not-
says that, right.
They would not work.
Right.
They
The
did
Ramban
not
says that was the thing in
Yeah.
But how
It's
you want
funny
him not
'cause
to be
it's
comfortable when Yosef is the Mashbir, he's the king, he gives his brother everything, so of course they'll be comfortable.
They were not comfortable. That's what the Rebbe is saying. They were not comfortable because they knew they're not in the Holy
they were
Land.
not.
They were not. As long as they were not comfortable, they were. The Eibush said, "V'avodim v'inu oisim." They'll be tormented for these years. But because they were tormented inside, that they're in Golus, you know, it's a murderly thing. You think that the Rebbe was gesturmt that a Yid has to be betzar that he's in Golus.
No.
Why is the Rebbe tormenting the Yidden? But who knows? The Rebbe's cheshbonis. The Rebbe wanted that a Yid should be betzar in Golus. The Rebbe's big thing was right that the Yidden begashmi is the Yidden should be very comfortable, but be'emes inside the Yidden should be within pain.
But the Rebbe said, really, the pain is not for us. The pain is for the Eibush. This goes to Shechina.
Right.
Not really. It's not. We're not yelling about our side.
But the bottom line is that we're betzar. So that's just like over here. The Rebbe says that if there was a gzeir against the Yidden and avodim v'inu oisim harbe meishonim, you can mekayim it in one or two ways, or both ways together. One is through choymer, kal v'choymer, and libun hilchasa. That's levanim, and the second is through being betzar.
Can you say also maybe like, but just like Rashi, if there's two pshatim, because there was a kash in the first one by the Rebbe, maybe he's giving two pshatim too. If the first pshat that they felt that they were in Golus, that's why until that point that they didn't feel that they were in Golus, they didn't have to really have shibud. Maybe because according to that pshat, you can't hold it against the children. They never were in Eretz Yisrael to begin with to feel the tzar.
That's why you need the other type
So you need the tzar
of choymer, kal v'choymer, and okay, tzrichas.
It's like in our society, if you go to a most nice hotel vacation, 5-star hotel and everything good, it's not yours. You're not enjoying. You're enjoying it, but you still want to go.
Nothing like Pesach at home.
No.
And they also say that the happiest day of the vacation is the first day and the last day. In America, there's a saying: the first day because you're going away from home, and the last day because you're going back.
Oh.
It's mamash peskan.
But it has meaning
You had
to
it,
it.
yeah, because you
The
had
Jew-
it.
the
There's no
Jewish
place like
community-
home. I want to sleep in my own bed in my own house.
I think you got to ask each. You have to ask the wife, and you have to ask the husband. I'll bet their answers will not be the same.
Well, the wife and the husband usually should at least
You would think so.
colloquially should be on the same page. And I know that we it's like a famous thing in our house. If we go away, the happiest day is the first day and the last day. We all agree. Except, you don't want to leave Eretz Yisrael, but still, it's not your home.
It's Hashem. Soon when we go to Eretz Yisrael, we're all going to have a home there.
Amen.
It was an example, but try to thinking the Jewish people in Egypt. What they have in Egypt? I don't care what it is.
But really, it was Eretz Yisrael. The ones that first went there, they looked at it and said, "We're not in Egypt. We're in Eretz Yisrael." According to the Rabbi, they were saying we were in Eretz Yisrael.
Yaakov sending his children over there. Think about it. But they live comfortable at the soul. Why do you need to send them out?
Well, if you think about
I mean,
it,
they were not comfortable.
look at it today. Look at it
Yeah,
today.
there was a-
Egypt is 50 times bigger than Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Mitzrayim.
Yeah.
It's Gashmis.
Yeah.
So when they were sitting in Shem,
Wait, 50 times.
land mass.
Right.
Well, you
50
could-
times bigger?
Yeah, more. If you go to Eretz Yisrael today and you think about it, you're sitting in Yerushalayim, you could see Jordan, you could see Hebron. So you think like, I'm surrounded by behemoths everywhere I go. Even then,
Right.
if they go to Mitzrayim and they own,
The land, Goshen.
it's bigger than the whole Eretz Yisrael.
The whole Goshen is 10 times more than Atzisot.
No, I don't know about Goshen itself,
But
but I'm saying that if they own the, Galil, Goshen v'Galil, so they
Where
were.
is Goshen today in Mitzrayim?
We don't
They have such a place?
Well, I don't know, but where they lived, it's green. If you look on the satellite, Egypt is all desert except for 5%, which is the Delta Nile.
It was
Which is-
east of the
South, actually, it's south.
of the river.
It's
of the,
precisely
of
south.
the Nilus. South.
If you draw a line straight down from Eretz Yisrael to the end of it, to where they were, that's where they were. In other words, they were by Cairo,
In Egypt.
like 20 miles. Let's say 25 miles north south of Cairo.
But that's
And now
It's
there
the,
is
it's the
West
fertile.
of Israel.
It's the
Cool.
fertile part of the.
It's
Eretz
cold.
Yisrael. It's
You know,
not
the
south.
people, it's
no,
something.
it's not south. It's west.
to go
Southwest.
middle of the
South.
night, walk.
So let's wrap it up. So Dr. Rebbe, so therefore you can put together Rashi Pshat and also the Pshat of the Medrash. That in the outside it looks good sometimes, Eden are in Golus, and they're living in a place that's comfortable and way vachuza. But Bepnimis, the Medrash tells us, don't get too comfortable, because if you get too comfortable in Golus, instead of achuza, which in positive it'll be the opposite. It'll be achuza oichezes bohem ka'odem she'oiches boi bal korchi. One more nakuda the Rebbe says like this: is the emes is that the ultimate purpose that Yidnar and Golus is really to take the netzutzes of kedusha away from Golus. That's the Chamam Chazal, that they went to Golus in order sheitoisef aleim geidim. So in the world there's a lot of sparks of kedusha of toyu, and the Yidnar world from tikkun. So therefore it's the achuzah. They really have to yarsh and the goyim. They have to, similar to the word of Machdar Eretz Yisrael, but they have to take away from the goyim and yarshin it. There's a thing that once the Frierdiker Rebbe said in a Maimon, and that is that it says Haloi och Esav Yaakov, that Esav is a brother to Yaakov, and by Esav is a goy. So by him, the whole Yerusha is similar to the concept of Ben Ein Loiv and Asatam as Nachalosa Lebitoy. So therefore, Le'echov. So therefore, the Yidden have to Yash and Esav. So that's the reason the Yidden are in Golus by Esav. So they should get the Yerusha from Esav.
Maybe that's why they like to send Jews to jail. Because they think they know maybe their neshamas know that we're really trying to take away their own lives.
So maybe it's Hashem. Hashem
But the-
Mordechai
the-
will do his job and he'll...
Yeah, they say he's got better chance now. Yeah, but the Frierdiker, when he says the bonas were polished already, he means that the nitzosis when it's bara, right?
Yeah.
So what have we been doing here for the last 60? How long ago?
The cash.
70 years, right?
The Rebbe said if you polish a button too much, they get ruined.
Yeah, 65 years already. The Frierdiker said this almost 70 years ago.
76
What have we been doing?
76.
But there was no Lubavitch in Las Vegas and in Phoenix and in San Juan and in all these places. So obviously the bonas weren't polished.
But now there is.
Right.
Mamish in every corner
Right.
of
So
the
maybe the
world.
Rebbe said that's over polishing the bonas.
Yeah.
I think they just did all 50 states. They just covered it. Just
Oh yeah, they just finished.
All 50 states.
Which is the last state that?
North Dakota or South, one of the Dakotas, I think.
What? The Hagadah also comes up?
Yeah, all 50 states. They didn't have it till like recently.
Harav Gutnik was Choshev Mirov in Melbourne. Who doesn't remember Harav Gutnik? We were
Chaim Gutnik.
Rav Chaim Gutnik. He used to give a shiur for the shluchim once a week. So he said, he went to the Rebbe once. He was like very comfortable with the Rebbe. So
Because he was a very good. He was a good Nick. He was a good skate.
he was
He was
Like
good.
A,
He was a very sweet
real.
person.
Like
He
he
was-
came to the Rebbe like a real.
But
good guy.
he had a tremendous shul.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was an orator.
Right.
I was there once I was his Baal Tekeya for Rosh
Yeah?
Hashanah. Shul is empty all year.
I know.
Empty.
Wow.
Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, the place is packed.
Wow.
They have, I think, 500 seats.
They don't believe in
Yeah.
conservative Judaism over there.
Right, there's no conservative, so they belong to Orthodox shul.
Exactly.
The wealthiest people in Melbourne belong to his shul.
Right, wow.
All show up at Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. But he was an orator, just something exceptional. So he asked the Rebbe, he wore those,
Top hats.
yeah.
Top yarmulkes.
So maybe maybe he should change to this hat,
Great.
yeah. So the Rebbe said like this: if you went back in history and you showed me Chassidim from the Alter Rebbe, the Middle Rebbe, Tzemach Tzedek, Rebbe Marash, I would know. If you showed me pictures, I would know who's the Alter Rebbe's Chassid, who's the Middle Rebbe's, who's the Tzemach Tzedek. But not from the levush, not because how they were dressed. Not, in other words, just from their character. Even though, said the Rebbe, that one of the Lubavitcher Rabbeim said that he is jealous of the Chassidei Poilin, that they have this whole levush, but at the end of the day, by Chabad that wasn't right. However, sagt the Rebbe, if you really want to be my chassid, so therefore, in other words, the levush is not going to help you to become a chassid Chabad. However, there's three things you could do. Number one, the miftzoyim. If you do the miftzoyim, these are the things that the world stands on it. You'll be my chassid. Number two, you'll promote Yiddish gaiva, pride in being a Yid. The Rebbe spoke to him about me Yehudi, because the Rebbe then was a big koch about me Yehudi. And number three, to kochzich, your whole chayas should be in Mashiach. And the Rebbe said that, what I mean to that is that everything you do, machshava dibra ma'isa, that to a person to think, how is this going to bring Mashiach closer? Lahavi li ma'isa Mashiach. How is this going to bring Mashiach?
Wow.
So with these three things, you be my chassid. In other words, never mind the hat, this hat, that hat, bleib sich with your, this hat. Just do these three stuff, and then
It's beautiful. It's amazing that the Rebbe knew he would be makabel such a thing, because he didn't tell that to everybody.
right.
Just people that he knew would listen.
Emes.
Like someone like Zalman Jaffe. You don't see anyone that ever said like that to him.
Yeah.
It's too sharp. This is
Exactly.
really sharp.
Right. Emes.
The Rebbe sent them once from Melbourne to
Yeah,
a
to the other
city.
side. To
What
save
is
the
it
Yiddish
called?
lady.
What is it called? This Kamba?
Canberra.
Kamba?
Forgot the name of the. After he went there, there was a whole thing, and then they sent shluchim every few months for years after that.
She
That's
thought
the
she was
capital of
Goy, something like that.
Australia.
It was a girl that was like being
There's a Jewish
converted
girl
or
from
something.
Bobag that want to go away from Yiddishkeit, and she found herself working in a department store in that place.
Is that kind of good thing? It happened with him?
Father, yeah. And the Rebbe told him, go give her matzah. I was like, what are you doing here, a Jewish girl, in a place like that? Yeah,
But how he
I
found it
wasn't
was how he found it was also a nace.
Right.
He sat on the plane next to her boss.
Like the boss, yeah.
Mom was on the plane. The Rebbe sent him to go give matzah in a certain city. So he did what? Who am I gonna give?
You read it also.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. And on the plane, he sat next to her boss. It was a girl that was from a Hasidic home. She wasn't about it.
Right, I'm saying.
Hasidic home, yeah. And she says, I know exactly who you're looking for. She took her to the store, and she became a Malach Shuvah. And there's another story with him, Chaim Gutnik, with a Giyaris. There was a girl who was the Rebbe sent this also to some town, and he said you have to find out the girl that they're trying to convert, something like this. And he looked for weeks, and he found the girl that they were trying to convert. Mamish, that day or something, she was going to convert, and he got a mamish that day.
But Emes, there was.
It was in the army also. It was like.
He came into the Rebbe with his army levush.
Right. It was
a chaplain.
Got a chaplain.
Yeah. You see that the Rebbe was
the what's it called? Like the Bauman. They wanted
yes.
him to come up with him.
Exactly.
Him and Goldstein.
Yeah.
Oh, the Rebbe asked him to come like that, Doctor?
I think so, yeah.
Dr.
Amazing.
Goldstein?
He's a guy.
No, a
And
chaplain
it's such a
in the US Army.
counterintuitive thing, like, carrying, that's exactly the hefech of chitzonius. The hefech, you think that, coming in the thing, and make a hoo-ha, that is a pumfa kid. Here's a Rav, he's a Talmud Chacham, he learned in tells, and you think, so come with your Hamburg and your levush, pumfa kid, come in your big day, army.
Chaplain.
Yeah.
Because it's not about him, it's about the impact he can make on the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bidiyuk. You see the Kabbalah soul that he had. You would think like he'd think he guy's a Rav. He's not a soldier. He looks like a clown. I'm saying Al Pidar Chatev. Maybe he was proud of it. I don't know, but I'm sure he was.
I think that Rebbe. Why would he come that way? Probably that Rebbe requested.
Right. And then
There were some people that ever requested that some Chassidim stay with their old lavush, like the Mendel Futterfass, they should stay with that casket.
And
So,
the Polish was with the ties.
right. But the casket is you do with it. Yeah, that's it. Emes. So in yeshiva once, one of the Rosh Yeshivas there is a Rav Khan. Choshev, he's the top shear. He's an old, not a young man.
He's still giving shiurim and he's still like a yeki. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Rav Khan, very nice guy. He's one of the top
In Granite.
No, in Chaim Berlin.
Berlin.
Rav Khan, in Chaim Berlin. You know,
Pinchas Khan.
the father.
Yeah, the
He's
father.
Yeah.
He's not so old.
He's not so old.
70.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, not his sons, because his sons.
Right.
So he told me once that he was walking with someone else, with Rav Wudner, in Crown Heights, and they saw two elder Chassidim with a casket. And the Rav Wudner said, he stopped. He said, you see across the street, you see this guy's in? Madav Zachlan von Zay, something like that. They have to be a soldier. We have to learn from them. Okay.
Why is it that, unlike other Hasidim, the Lubavitchers don't have this, this so-called Hasidic clothing business?
So, because what we were saying before is because the reason the Pasha says because in Chabad they were scared that if there's going to be a special levush, then people will think that with this I'm a chassid, and that's it. We're yoitza, Yidei Shamayim. It's very nice, but they're missing the point. But if a person doesn't have the levush, so then they know that they're not doing anything until they do something.
That's one of the reasons.
Wasn't
there also a gezerah that the Jews had to wear jackets?
Right. There was also a history thing. There was once a gezerah against Jewish begodim, and the Chidush
Right.
and another very choshev Rebbe, the Yida Kodesh maybe.
It was Yarug.
They said Yehorig Val Yaver, and the Tzemach Tzedek wrote a long tshuva saying that no, it's not Yehorig Val Yaver, that they should just change the clothing and that's it. Never mind. So that's what stayed. By them, even the people that changed, but when the Gzeira left, they stayed with the Lavush.
Right, and the reason why the Eretz Yisrael Lubavitchers wear long jackets, I'm just saying as far I think is because they were already Lubavitchers in Eretz Yisrael. So they never had.
They had that old Jewish Lavush.
My older brothers told the Chassan that they were wearing long ones. When I born already, my father was in Chabad. He let me wear a short jacket after the Bar Mitzvah.
Interesting. But I'm saying, but the ones that were there already
So
before the
same
Milchama,
family, some brothers are wearing long and some wear short.
But I'm saying, but before the Milchama, I'm saying the Yidden that were there before,
Like from the time of the Mittel Rebbe.
because there was already an early Hasidim at the time
Before the
Tzemach
Tzemach Tzedek, right.
By the time,
But even Chabad said the Mittel Rebbe, his daughter, and
right, and the Alter Rebbe himself was going to go to Eretz Yisrael.
right.
So those the Hasidim that were already in Eretz Yisrael before the Tsar made this Gzeir, they never took off their long coats.
They still
Yeah, there's hundreds of Lubavitchers in Eretz Yisrael that dress
Long
long coats. But as far as then you can ask, but what about the pies? How come they don't have long pies?
some and some.
Shmulik, your father, his father was Chabad. Was Chabad? His father was Chabad Chosin.
Real Chabad. He made the Frierdiker Rebbe when he came to Eretz Israel, and he asked him a boche that my children should be Chassidim.
Wow. And he gave it to him?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Since we're talking about Shlichus, so there's a cute story that Rav Herson told once at a Fabrengen. He said that in the early years, the Rebbe sent him. He was sent to Mecca Shlichus. He went with Rebbe Benjamin Klein. So they were going to 3 countries, to Cuba, to some other Central American country, and to Venezuela. So the whole thing, the Rebbe said that they should stop in each place at least two stops, and then in Venezuela they couldn't. The end of the plane got stuck in one of so they ended up being for 2 days in 2 cities. Okay, like the way exactly what the Rebbe wanted came. But he said that when the first stop was Cuba, so he was very scared. He wrote to the Rebbe because there was just a revolution, and Castro just took over. It's like communism, and he was scared. So the Rebbe didn't answer that child. The Rebbe didn't answer. So that's it. You go on Shlichus. The Rebbe didn't answer. Didn't address it. Lapoil, when he got there, he said people were like wherever doors opened for him. And when he heard he could speak the language. Rav Herson speaks. He grew up in Brazil. He speaks Portuguese. So basically they say, "Oh, these are from the Castro people," because Fidel has.
They get a small beard.
Yeah, that's right. So, and it was just a change of regime. They didn't know who's who. So they thought that these are Castro's men. So wherever they went, doors opened up for them. Okay.
Once Rabbi asked somebody, a bocher rider, try to he doesn't know. So the Rabbi told him, when you walk with a hat and a jacket and a beard in the street, and some Jewish lady from a building watching you, and a member, that's enough. That's already you did the job. Imagine this.
Amazing.
You think
there goes a chos.
You think you're doing it.
Rabbi always said that someone should say, "There goes a chos."
Yeah.
Let's do another word here. It says about Shevet Levi that they didn't have any shibud. The Ramban says, like David just pointed out, that it was a Sibah Meis Hashem, that there was a minig b'chaleis l'islam chacham m'oidet terosan laheniach lam pari Shevet Levi shoyach chachamim v'sikneim. That Pari left alone, that they should, because Pari said that every nation has to have their leaders, so the Rebbe frekt akasha. L'choida, so Shevet Levi never had the shibud. Okay. The truth is, we said before that you could, instead of working in Chomer and Levanim, you could do Chomer and Levanim. But the Rebbe here gives a second teretz. Klal Yisrael is all one inyan. Kol nefesh habo mitzrayim lashon yochid. Klal Yisrael is one. It's just like to say that the legs are walking and the hands are not walking. So the legs are tired and the hands are not tired. There's no such a thing. The legs are walking, and the hands are walking, and the whole goof is walking. And when the person gets tired, the whole person's tired. With Shevet Levi were not sitting and relaxing. They were learning Torah and teaching Torah. The whole reason Yidden are in Golus was not to suffer. The Eibishter wanted that the Golus should be Achona for Matan Torah. So, what's going to be worth that the Yidden are suffering if there's not going to be a Shevet Levi around? Shevet Levi was Huvda Lavas Hashem Lashar, so Lahoides Derochava Yesharim Mishpatim Tzadikim Larabim. They were there to teach. So it's not the pshat that they were not part of the shibud. They felt the shibud of Klal Yisrael, and they were machazik the Yidden that were going out in the fields, and they were also learning Torah. So it's not the pshat that Shevet Levi is a different part of Klal Yisrael. Emes Taka Shevet Levi learned Torah, but they're part of Eretz Yisrael, of Klal Yisrael, and therefore Vavodim V'inu Oisam went also Shevet Levi. Okay, so let's summarize the two verta. So number one, Avodah V'inu Moisam was all 210 years, even though there was part of the time it was good, but as we gave two tzirutzim, number one, because Chomer Levanim is they exchanged it with Chomer, Kal V'Chomer, and Levanim, Liban Hilchasa. Number two, they felt in pain because they were Be'eretz Lo Lahem, they felt they were in Golus. So therefore it's true that all 400 or 210 years it was Inoism. That's the first issue. And the second issue, not all the people. Levi was always comfortable. The answer is Levi wasn't comfortable. They felt the tzad of Klal Yisrael, and they were there to teach Klal Yisrael. Memela, they were also part of the Gzeira of Avodim V'Inoaisa.
You see, even Moshe Rabbeinu was in the most comfortable spot, which was in the
Beis HaMelech.
In the Beis HaMelech. And he was mitzvah.
And he was mitzvah, he went out.
Moshe was also from Levi.
Exactly.
Right, that's what Rashi says. That's why. How come Moshe, everyone's being tormented, and Moshe Levi, they're going in the palace, out the palace. What's happening? We don't find in the Torah that was a miracle. That's what Rashi says, because...
Right, and it's the only place where it mentions. Does it say anywhere else that Levi and Shevet Levi wasn't part of the Shibud? Was there a medrash, or is that the only makar?
But Rashi has that as the only makar.
Yeah, but is that from a medrash, or that's Rashi just saying...
Rashi is machich from the Pesach, because I think what Rashi is saying is, the Torah doesn't make it sound as if it's a miracle. It sounds like they're coming in, they're coming out. So l'chayra, where's the shibud? The answer that you have to see must say that Shevet Levi was not part of it. But Chazal, they knew Beruach Kodsham. Another nekuda. It says later in the Hagadah, Vanitzak vayishma lekimas nakosam. The Eibishter heard that the Yidden were screaming. So the shaila is, why did the Eibishter have to make it that... So Avraham Avinu gets a thing that the Yidden are going to be in Golus. Fine. The Eibishter sends Moshe to take the Yidden out of Golus. After that, it gets worse. It gets worse. He says, it got worse. So Eibishter says, don't worry. But he doesn't answer. Why did it have to get worse? It got terrible. After the whole Koisha Shibud was after the Moshe Rabbeinu went away. Pari got so angry, and he said they have to bring the Tevin. And the Medrash says that there was not enough Tevin. They would take their babies and put it into the bricks. So that happened after Moshe Rabbeinu came. So why did it have to happen after? So in general,
he got him pretty angry.
And it got them angry, but why did Eibush have to do that? So they can answer B'chlal about Golus. Yeah, right. So the shaila is why the Eibush should do it. So the answer is, Dr. Rebbe, because it's not, the whole thing of Golus is not Chas v'Shalom to torment the Yidden. They did nothing wrong. It's in order for a person to be a Keli, to be Makabal the Torah, they have to have a Leiv Nishbur. They have to be the broken heart. A person... when a person has a koisha shibud, it's sometimes because the Eibishter wants to elevate a person. So therefore, he gives them a little bit of tzoros to break their gaiva. And then, when the gaiva is broken, so then they can be elevated. The Yidden had to be makabel the Torah. So had to break the yeshus. So therefore, it was necessary to be... there should be... therefore, there was a strong tzar right before the Geula.
But people were physically killed, so basically it's nothing to break, they physically killed those babies in the bricks.
I'm not talking about those babies. We're talking about the Yidden that suffered when they saw the babies die. About the babies is a separate cheshbon. So for the babies, the Rebbe says another word about the babies, which is a Moradika word. In a letter, one of the first letters the Rebbe wrote. The Rebbe used to write a letter for Pesach. So the first letter the Rebbe wrote, L'Kovet, Klal Yisrael, after he became Rebbe, before Pesach, the Rebbe wrote like this. The Chazal say that because it was Koisha Shibud, the Eibishter knocked off 190 years. What was the Koisha Shibud? The main thing Chazal says because they took the babies alive and they put them in the bricks, and the babies were crying, and that Nitzak Vayishma Lakimas Nakosam, Medrash says was the babies that were crying that they were being killed in the bricks, which is a moededike thing.
Oh, they were like buried alive.
Buried alive, the Rachmana litzlan. It says that they were buried alive and they were crying. They matzelosam v'tal shavosam alulukim. So the Medrash says that's why from that vanitzak v'yishu alakimas nakosam was the screaming of those babies. So the Rebbe says that we have to learn from this Sayron Avodas Hashem. What's Sayron Avodas Hashem? That sometimes there's Yidden, that Yiddish children whose neshamas are being hacked into the bricks of Golus of Mitzrayim.
College.
And, you got it. And that's it. And their neshamas are screaming and crying. No one hears their cry, but the Eibishter hears the cry. And if the pain from a guf who is Rachmana litzlan in such a situation like those babies in Mitzrayim is so painful, kol shkein these neshamas, that the pain is even more intense than the neshama.
They're aware of it.
Exactly. So Mamela, when a Yid goes and saves those neshamas, takes them out afeilu lo godel through making sure that they're going to go to chinuch kosher al taras hakodesh. So Mela, there couldn't be a bigger thing. There couldn't be a bigger thing than that. So the Eibus shall help that all of us should be matzliach in this avodas hakodesh. And Taka the Eibus should darisna me'al yidin ma'afeilu lo godel.
Amen. Amen.